Yo everyone, how's it going? It's me, Arctic. Today's video we're going to be looking at the character Kazuma. Actually, his name is Kiryu Kazuha. And this is going to be a new character coming out with Inazuma update in 1.6. But first, if you guys wouldn't mind, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We are making some pretty good progress. So yeah, Kazuma uses Elemental Mastery as his substat right here. As you can see, on Ascension he gets up to 115 Elemental Mastery. This dude right here is getting lots of Elemental Mastery, so that's what he's mainly focusing on. He has a high base attack at 297, so that's pretty on par with characters like Ayaka and some of the other baseline for new 5 stars that are coming out. This also puts him on baseline with characters like Venti. Basic attacks, pretty standard. He does 5 sword strikes, I think, instead of 6. So he's a 5-hit, which is pretty nice. As you can see, like, his charge attack is also a split multiplier. This isn't as high of a multiplier as Keqing, so not necessarily a main DPS character like that. However, his plunge attack multipliers are actually pretty high, as you can see. It goes up to 349%, which I think is very similar to Xiao, actually. His elemental skill, Shai Hayafuru, is unleashed as a secret technique as fierce as the rushing wind. It pulls objects and opponents towards Kazuha's current position for launching the opponents within the AoE. So basically this performs just like Anemo Traveler's elemental skill. However, this also does anemo damage and it lifts Kazuha into the air. And then from that point on, you can do a plunge attack that actually is going to be infused with his... So it will be infused with anemo damage, so pretty much you're getting your initial elemental skill kind of traction and burst damage with that, but you're also getting a plunge attack that you can follow up right after that. So I think that'll be a pretty interesting skill. In terms of multipliers, this doesn't look as crazy as, for example, Jean's E skill. Her skill does more damage immediately. However, this does have damage over time, and you're also able to get like anemo infusions in this as well, which are going to give you increased damage from that. The hold skill right here, it's looking pretty good. It's got a pretty decent multiplier. I think hold skill is what you're going to want to use the most, because the hold skill is what actually is going to launch you into the air. For the ultimate ability, Manyu no Ituyu, I'm totally butchering pronunciations, but the ultimate Ganyu technique, haha, funny. The ultimate Garyu technique, a single slash akin to Coming Storm that deals AoE anemo damage. So the blade passage will leave behind a field named Ruka Akeno that deals AoE anemo damage at set intervals. So basically it acts like a Sucrose, but with an initial hit. So already he's like pretty much a better Sucrose, if you can think of that. The slashing damage at level 8, 419%, not anything crazy. Jean's burst actually has a way higher elemental burst skill damage cap than this does. However, what you're really looking for is that additional damage from the AoE procs and this damage over time. So overall, in terms of damage output, he's going to be pretty good. His Ascension 1 talent, it's not been named yet, but if Chai Hayafuru comes into contact with any of the main 4 elements while it's being used, the elemental absorption will occur during the elemental skill, and it will deal an additional 200 damage, 200 in additional damage of that element type. Elemental absorption may only occur once per use of the elemental skill. So what that's saying is that whenever you do get a swirl reaction, you're going to be getting 200% extra elemental damage. His Ascension 2, upon triggering a swirl reaction, Kazuha will grant teammates 0.03% elemental damage bonus to their corresponding element for every point of elemental mastery he has for 8 seconds. So literally what this is right here, it's like probably going to be the most broken supporting thing in the game. So what you're basically going to be able to do is you're going to snapshot his elemental mastery and give your teammates an elemental damage bonus. Quick calculation for 0.3% of elemental damage bonus. So for example, if you get your Kazuha probably to like 500 elemental mastery plus, let's say, another 300 from a Sucrose, you probably could get that pretty easily from a Sucrose. So that'll get you up to about 800 elemental mastery times 0.03. So that's going to be another 24% elemental damage bonus for your actual character that you're going to be DPSing with. So that's actually a pretty good boost right there. Okay, now getting into his constellations. All of his constellations don't seem to be insanely strong. However, they do boost his supporting abilities in his kit quite a bit. Constellation 1 decreases the elemental skills cooldown by 10%, so you can use it a little bit more, so you can keep your team rotations up pretty good. And when you use your ultimate ability, it resets the cooldown of your E skill. His second constellation increases the current active character's elemental mastery by 200% if they are within the AoE of his ultimate ability. So what that means is that if you use his elemental skill after you use his burst, you're going to be getting 200% extra elemental damage for whenever you're going to be doing this Ascension 2 skill right here. His Constellation 4, when his ultimate energy is lower than 45%. When his ultimate energy is lower than 45, he obtains the following effects. His press or his hold of his E regenerates 3 or 4 energy for Kazuha, respectively. Regenerates 2 energy per second for Kazuha while gliding. Now that seems pretty interesting, because what that's going to mean is, since your elemental skills hold launches you up into the air, that means that you're going to be at gliding height. So you can glide around or reposition over the top of enemies. Which is C6. This one's kind of interesting because it makes you think that Kazuha can also be used as a DPS character. However, I still think that he's going to be better as a support. He gains anemo infusion for 5 seconds after using his elemental skill or his elemental burst. Additionally, each point of elemental mastery will increase the damage dealt by Kazuha's normal and charge and plunging attacks by 0.2%. So if you have snapshotted up to 800 elemental mastery, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that high of elemental mastery for a DPS build. So let's say he's got around 200% elemental mastery if you're using a Sucrose as his DPS support. So just that times 0.2, that's already another 40% damage just to your normal and charge attacks just from his C6 right there. So that's a very, very good C6 in my opinion for unlocking his a DPS potential. However, anything before that, I would just recommend running him support. I will also be doing a weapons guide for him. I know there are several weapons that are pretty notable for that, like the Alley Flash, which gives elemental mastery and a lot of good stats for him. So that'll probably be one of his better swords. But anyway, if you guys made it to the end and you liked the video, remember to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. But anyway, I appreciate you all. Anyway, it's been me, Arctic. I will see you guys all next time. Farewell.